Hello, tribe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is day one of the Pattern Interrupt series. This is a series of three masterclasses, and today we are going to start with knowing how to become the pattern breaker. We are going to dive deep into what is it that you actually need to become the person who breaks those patterns, because we know, both you and I, we know how difficult it is to break patterns. But in reality, it's more about knowing how to become that person that breaks the patterns and some strategies. The good thing here is that I've got the strategies, I've got the real talk, I've got the zero fluff. Let's talk about this for you. And I'm so freaking excited. I see you joining live. Please let me know in the comments. Say hello if you're joining me live. And also, if you are catching the replay, just write down in the comment hashtag team replay, because plenty of you signed up for this masterclass. I was so excited. I am still excited. So it's just really, really cool. And I want to feel everybody's energy. So if you are live, say hello. If you are catching this on the replay, comment hashtag team replay. Hey girls, hey Lala, hey Stacy. Stacy saying on Facebook's not showing. I think it takes some time sometimes when you are streaming, so I will allow some time. Perfect. Stacy is catching me on YouTube. Hi Saida. Oh my God, yes, this is so exciting. All right, let me just grab my slides. So this is what we're doing. Today, we are focusing on becoming the pattern breaker and what does it really take. And as I said, this is a 3-day series. So later on, we're going to start building up on this. On the second day, we're going to talk about trauma loops and the spot and stop framework that I have created to help you break patterns for good. For good, I mean like goodbye patterns. And the last day, we're going to talk about how to become unstoppable, how to believe in yourself and stay on track. Because sometimes people actually start breaking those patterns, but it's the staying consistent part that is harder for them, right? So we're going to focus on that. All right. So just a couple of okay. Before I start, well, actually, before I dive into this, I really want to tell you that you are at the freaking right place. If you have been through some trauma, some abuse, if your life was difficult for you and you are looking for a way to actually break patterns, you are at the right place. If you already managed to break some patterns, but then there are other things that you do in your life and you're like, I should have known better. Like, how the hell did I end up in this situation again? How the hell did I do this again? Then you are at the right place. Either you started your journey already, either you are in the beginning, you are at the right place. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about me, because you're like, okay, I signed up for this thing. So maybe you don't know who you are. So here's a little bit about me, okay? I have a lot to say, but oh my gosh, I'm going to start with the main things that maybe probably are more interesting to you. I am an empowerment coach for survivors. That means that I am a trauma conscious coach. I am also the founder of the Forward and Free method. It's a 5-step method that I use in everything I do, including this masterclass. You know, as survivors, we need a certain structure. We need like a face by face on how to do things. And I'm telling you this not only because, you know, that's something that I've seen. It's something that I have identified in myself, that as a survivor, I do need some structure. So I bring in the structure for you in these masterclasses, in my coaching containers, anything that I do, I bring structure. So the Forward and Free method is a method that I created that has 5 single steps, but they are life-changing to help you actually move forward, to help you actually go to the thriving part. Because I'm not the kind of coach that are gonna get you, stuck on the healing part and learning more about healing and trauma and never moving forward. So I created this method to actually help you like propel forward. And if you love this, if you're here for this, drop me some fires in the comments, because I'm totally down for this. And this has been proven, so I absolutely love this. I am a certified life coach. I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, and I'm also a writer. and I am a survivor of complex childhood trauma and abuse. And I have been doing this work for 7+ years. Now in November, it's going to be 8 years, so I will have to change the slide. But this is a little bit about me and about what I do. And this is why we're here today. Everything that I do is actually made to help you as someone who has been through trauma, as someone who has been through certain difficulties in life, to help you propel forward. So if you're here for this, drop me some fires in the comments, because that's what I am here for. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping, and I see more people joining. That's amazing. As you join, comment, say hello in the comments, okay? A little housekeeping. And if you see me looking this way, it's because I have some notes and I want to make sure I tell you everything that I want to say. And if you have questions, please drop me in the comments. I will try to stay focused on the presentation, because otherwise I just get lost. but I will try to check the comments here and there to see if you have any questions. Okay? All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. This masterclass series comes with a workbook, and the workbook, let me see if I can show it to you. The workbook is no fluff, okay? It's literally a workbook where you get to work on the things that we are going to talk about as we go within this masterclass, okay? So if you haven't it already, this workbook is only for the people who signed up already. You know, I am streaming for other platforms, but if you signed up, you already have the book, the workbook. And if you haven't signed up already, just just scan the QR or go to this website and you are going to get the book, okay? So you got something like this, and then you've got like the actual questions. And if you have your workbook with you, you maybe want to have it as we speak, because you may want to take notes, okay? So this is one of the things that I wanted to tell you. What else did I want to tell you? Nothing else. Are you ready? Are you ready to dive deep into this thing? Let me check the comments. Let me check how people are excited. Oh, okay, I see mixed on Facebook and also YouTube. Amazing. I was trying to say I'm on YouTube and okay, and you're not live. I clicked on the link and been watching. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for letting me know. Hopefully everybody else will find a way. Thank you, Han. Okay, who's excited to know how to become the pattern breaker? I want to know. Okay, so let's dive deep into the first thing that we have to do to become a pattern breaker, right? And here I wanted to stop for a moment, because we tend to think that the people who break patterns, who are living a complete life from our own, is people who are special, people who have some certain, motivation. And sometimes what we need is just a new way of doing things, and then a strategy to follow through, right? So I want to invite you to open your mind before your brain starts going like, oh my God, maybe this is not for me, because I am not that person who is motivated all the time. You know what? Motivation comes and goes, right? So the first thing that we have to do is actually to embrace a new way of breaking patterns. And for us to do that, I want us to start with, okay, so if we want to embrace a new way of breaking patterns, then what is the old way? Because if you're here, it's because you probably tried time and time again to break some patterns in your life. Either this is actually going after what you want before giving up, whether it is to not sabotage your relationships, whether it is to break, to set boundaries, whether it is to step boundaries and actually don't feel like shit after, right? Doesn't matter what pattern you're trying to break, you probably tried it. And what happens often is that we don't sit down enough to actually think about the way we are doing things, right? This may be the only click you need, right? This may be the only click for you to be like, oh, shoot, like, okay, I got this now. And listen, we're just starting today. Tomorrow is going to be fire as well, because I'm going to give you a framework and a strategy, okay? But let's dive deep into, okay, what are these old ways and new ways of breaking patterns. Let's take a look at the old ways to break patterns. And if you can relate to this, please tell me in the comments, I relate. I see you, right? If you write down, I see you, this is you telling yourself that you see yourself and that you see others as well. So what is the old way of breaking patterns? This is something that we think about. This is something that we believe. This is how things that people tell us that make very sense in theory, and we're going to talk about theory in a bit, but when you're trying to execute, you have nothing, there's no foundation. There's no foundation. So here's the thing, just do it. Right? People tell you, you know what to do, just do it, right? We tell people, other people advice, we tell them what to do. It's so easy. You can see other people's situations and you're like, well, why don't you just do this, this, and that? And it's so clear, but maybe you say that to other people, but you cannot apply it to yourself. This is not because you're bad. This is not because you're stupid. This is not because there's something wrong with you. This is not a very like trauma-focused masterclass where I tell you the reasons why, but I want to tell you that it is pretty normal as a trauma survivor that you have this insight because you are so empathetic, because you have been through, because you walk the walk, right? But then you struggle to do the same for you. This is one of the things that we're going to discuss tomorrow, so I'm not going to dive deep into it. But sometimes people say, just do it, okay? And we're going to talk about why this doesn't work, what's wrong with this, what the problem with this. And then there's a lot of theory and not an actual plan. Because you can say, okay, so this is what I want to do, but how do you do it? How many times, and raise your hand if you're with me, how many times as a survivor, and let me tell you, I may be some steps ahead of you because I've been healing for 10 years. I've been helping other people for less time, but yeah, but you know what I mean. So how many times have you been to this masterclasses, or have you tried to talk to someone to help you? And it's all talk and it's all theory and not an actual plan. Like, just drop me a hand in the comments or say relatable. This happened to me time and time again. There's a lot of theory, but not an actual plan to follow through. This is one of the reasons, the main reasons why I love coaching, because we usually provide our clients with a game plan. If we're good, you're always going to have a game plan. And you know what? This experience, this is a free experience, but you're going to end the experience with a freaking conscious game plan. It's at the end of your workbook, okay? So yeah, so this is a problem, right? Force yourself. You think you should know this by now, so you just force yourself to do it. What happens? You end up not doing it, or you end up doing the thing completely dysregulated. And if you know me by now, you know I'm the gentle way lady, and that's one of the things that I don't allow anybody around me, my clients. Everything has to be gentle. We're still strong. Gentleness doesn't mean we're soft. We're still freaking badass, okay? But we tend to force ourselves into things without actually having a foundation, which is a problem with this old way of trying to break patterns. Is that actually, where is the foundation? Where is the structure? Of course it's hard for you to break patterns, right? I sent out an email the other day and I was like, of course it's hard, because it's freaking hard. Of course, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a foundation, if you are not treating yourself nicely, we're gonna go deeper into that. And then there is like this trusting that the awareness will do the job. Because sometimes you talk to experts and you know, you watch these videos and it's like 7 minutes talking about why is it hard to break patterns, and you know, all of this awareness, you know, all the things about the healing, because you're in my world, you are interested in this, and I'm guilty of this as well. I love YouTube. I love spending time on YouTube. But yeah, but we get a lot of awareness, but what do we do with that? Because the awareness is not going to do the job for you. Yeah? Okay, let me check the comments. A lot of hands up. A lot of hands up. Yep. Yeah, just wing it. Exactly. It's just the thing. It's just like, yeah, just wing it. Just go with the flow. And sometimes it's difficult. It doesn't work like that, right? We wish it worked like that. But good thing we have strategies. Now, let's talk a little bit about the problem with this, because once we realize the problem with this, we can start coming up with the solutions, because I'm not here to just give you problems. I'm here to give you the solution. Okay, so what's the problem with this? We spoke about this thing of the awareness, right? We watch the videos and we're like, yeah, I got this, right? It happened to me thousands of times. I got this, but it's short-lived motivation. And as I said before, motivation comes and goes. So motivation is not going to be there forever to help you move on. And it doesn't matter. And you know what? This the good thing here. It's like we're all survivors here. We're all people who have been through something. And we know that it doesn't matter the amount of motivation that you have. If you are freaking triggered, if you are having a flare of of a chronic disease that you have, like you cannot. So I'm not here to be like, we need to be more motivated. That's not what happened, because that's not what I'm going to tell you, because I know that if I tell you this, it's going to work for, maybe tomorrow, but it's going to be short-lived. I spoke about this before. There's no structure. There's no attention to the before, during, and after. Let's say you want to stop people pleasing. So I can tell you that, okay, well, the next time you have a conversation, I want you to stop a little bit, before you say yes and no. And that's great advice. But in order for you to sustainably, consistently become that person who is not a people pleaser, who is a recovering people pleaser, right? Like we say out on the social media streets, we have to think about the before. We have to think about, okay, so what can I do before I go through these social interactions to ground myself, so when I'm during the social interaction, I can actually do this thing. And guess what? I'm going to probably feel guilty. So what can I do after to feel better? It's a whole thing, right? We need to focus on these things. And even though this sounds very, over the top, this is just me dissecting it to you, because when you do this, you pay attention and you just connect, and you do this so quickly, you will not believe yourself. Because once you implement the method, and again, this is all related to my forward and free method, once you implement the method, then it's going to be second nature for you, okay? And the main problem that I see, well, it's just the last two are really strong. The main problems that I see here is that it doesn't focus on the millisecond that changes everything. Because when you're trying to break patterns, you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do, this is what's going to be different. But how many times have you gone to this conversation where you were going to speak up? How many times did you try to do that thing that is going to propel you forward? And there is this split second, it's so quick, right? And you have this split second, and in this split second is the second that you are going to either do what you've always done or change it and break the pattern. So if you want to break the pattern, you have to really pay attention to that freaking millisecond, because that's the moment where your nervous system is going to decide, okay, we're breaking this thing, or it's going to say it's just safer to stay and do the same as I've always done. Because here's the thing with your nervous system, right? We sometimes fight our nervous system and we get mad because why am I like this? Why does my brain does not collaborate with me, right? Why is my body doing this to me? It's doing it to protect us, because familiarity is safety. It's crazy, but that's how it is. So we need to bring the body to safety, and I'm kind of going a little bit further ahead, but we need to bring our body to safety, so when the millisecond comes, we can do the thing. Because that's where everything changes. Let me check a little bit the comments. Yeah, I see comments like, I haven't gotten there. Of course, that's why we're here. That's why I do the work that I do, and I love it. I don't know if you can see the passion, but I love teaching these things. I love empowering you to do different, right? And to have the life that you deserve. So no problem. You're here because you haven't gotten there. That's the purpose of of this. And I feel like this comment is very important. It's hard with chronic illnesses and pain. When I told you that I work with a lot of survivors, right? And I've been doing this for a long time. And many survivors struggle with chronic illness. It's just, there are different causes, but mainly stress, trauma. It can take you to having, not saying all the time and always, right? But we have to be compassionate with us, and we have to find a new way that actually honors that. Because who says that even though you have chronic illness, you can't break patterns? You can. You just have to do it in a different way, a way that honors you. Okay. And then the last problem, which is, of course, obviously the biggest one, it's that it's not trauma conscious and nervous system, care. Usually we just think we should know better just because we know about trauma, just because we did, the trainings or whatever. And we think that we're supposed to just do things differently just because we know, right? And we have to realize that we have been through certain experiences that have altered our brain chemistry. Like, that's how it goes, especially if you have been through childhood trauma, like I have been. But here I am standing with you after breaking pattern after pattern after pattern, right? Including the pattern of being visible, of allowing myself to just be myself in front of the camera and F it, right? So you can do this. So this is the old way. Who is ready to just start a new way of doing things? Who is ready to start a new way of doing things? I will let you comment, and I'll probably check on Facebook and see if everybody's okay on Facebook. You got this. And we are going to dive deep into the solution, which is exciting. Okay, let me see if I'm live on Facebook. Okay, ready? Yes. So freaking ready. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, yes, I'm live. Amazing. Yay. Okay, good to know that you ladies are freaking ready. Let's talk about the new way then. Let's talk about the new way of doing things. This new way of doing things, oh, sorry, I hope I didn't make any noise with my microphone. The new way of doing things is grounded in safety. And if you have worked with me before, if you have been following me for a while, if you ever had a call with me, you know I am big on nervous system regulation and creating safety. I always start from there, because there's no way in hell that you are going to actually make consistent change, consistent good change for you without burning out, right? If you are not grounded in safety, if you are not regulating your nervous system, because as I said before, our nervous system is dysregulated. So if you're trying to break a freaking pattern, it's gonna go wild. And that's why in that millisecond, you're like, oh, no, I'm not gonna do this, right? So in this new way, what we are going to start implementing is a way of creating safety, okay? If you want to just start taking notes of this, I think this is totally worth taking notes, because we're going to build on this, but I think it's important for you to take notes that, first of all, we need to be grounded in safety. Everything else comes later. Yeah. And besides that, we need to focus on embodiment and integration. We need to start thinking about what would a person that breaks this pattern, how would this person act? And here's what's different from when people tell you you should embody and you should visualize. If you are grounded in safety, you are going to be able to embody way easily, but like with difference, okay? So we need to focus on embody this, but always, always, always being grounded in safety, okay? And we need to focus also on integration. We need to drop a little bit of this idea of just keep learning and observing and not integrate it. That's why I told you go ahead and take notes, right? That's why I told you write this down, because this is you starting to integrate. The way you break patterns is going to manifest in many different ways. So if you usually consume content and don't do anything about it, that is sending a message to your brain of how you want to move forward. So if you're telling your brain, I want to break patterns, and usually you're just consuming, now this is the time for you to show your brain, no, we're doing this. And we're doing this grounded in safety. Like, if you knew how powerful this shit is, it's crazy powerful, because that's the foundation. Remember when we were talking about the old way of breaking patterns, and there's no foundation to it. There's nothing for you to, build upon. Then the new way also needs to be trauma conscious. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how to implement all this, but we're just going through it. Okay, so it needs to be trauma conscious. Why? We cannot deny what we've been through, and I'm not telling you this for you to, wear trauma as a badge or stay over there or anything like this, but we have to stop denying that we have been through this thing and we need to do things a certain way, right? What I'm telling you here is I'm telling you pure strategic coaching methods. But we're being trauma conscious here, because otherwise the implementation is just going to be so hard, right? So we need to kind of like make peace. And I have this step on my forward and free method where we focus on the releasing, and we kind of drop into, okay, so this is what we've been through. What do we need to release in order to move forward, right? We have this trauma conscious approach to things, all right? So it's okay. We can look at trauma, but we're just learning. We're just like pinpointing, we're taking the thing that we need, and we're like, okay, we don't want to do this anymore. Bye-bye, release. The new way is also joyful, dreamy, and not forceful. Why are we beating ourselves up and bullying ourselves to break patterns? And if you think that you need to bully yourself and talk to yourself a certain way, otherwise you will not be motivated, let me tell you one thing, you're wrong. You're wrong. You don't have to. If you talk to yourself with love, if you talk to yourself in a way that is warm, and if you tell yourself, like in a trauma conscious way, I know what you've been through, but we got this. You are safe now and you got this. It's way better than telling yourself, I should know this by now. I cannot believe I'm doing this, right? So let's give up on the forceful energy. I have a cool masterclass on this, and if you want the masterclass link, you let me know. It's called Flow Not Force. It's somewhere in the depths of my private videos, but you let me know if you really struggle with this, because this is really important and crucial for you to break patterns. It's funny, every time I have first coaching sessions with people, well, mainly women, I only worked with one guy. And they always say, like, I have a fight within me. I have to fight with myself. And my advice is always, what if we stop fighting? but if you give her a hug and walk with her, right? So that's the energy that I'm talking about. And then let's be joyful, Not everything needs to be so hard. Not everything needs to be so difficult, and not everything needs to be so serious. And here's the thing about being a trauma survivor, especially if you have been through abuse. There is probably this thing where you see failure, where you see the possibilities of embarrassment or being wrong as danger, danger. And I totally got that because I've been through abuse my whole childhood, physical abuse. So when I started, working on my business and everything, I was so scared of failing, so scared. And I took everything so serious, and it was bringing so much stress. And here's what I started doing. I started seeing things as kind of an experiment, because we are in this life. And let me just drop the slides here a little bit, because we are in this life and we're not supposed to just be here and suffer all the time. You get to do things joyfully. You get to do things in an aligned way. You get to fail at breaking that pattern and try again, right? Sometimes this fear that you're going to fail is just like blocking you. But failure is a part of life and it's necessary for growth. And it's actually a good thing because it's information. So allow yourself to actually fail a little bit. Allow yourself to just be joyful and laugh about it, right? Of course, if we're talking about very important patterns that you want to break, sometimes the thing that you don't want to do is laugh about it. But you know what? Sometimes a good laugh really does the thing, Sometimes a good laugh, silly me, let's try again. What did Erica say? Oh, I didn't ground myself. See what I mean? Let's be joyful, dreamy, not forceful. And there is this very important idea. And if you are with me in the comments, drop me in the comments. Is this making sense? Are you up for doing this the new way? Because we're diving deep into this. And then I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to become the pattern breaker. Okay? We're just trying to get the mindset right. And then I'm going to tell you exactly what you need. And you will be able to just, go ahead, practice it, come back tomorrow for the framework that I'm going to share with you. Okay? Now, the new way also includes maintenance healing. And what do I mean by maintenance healing? Many of you that are in my world, can I say we are kind of like personal growth junkies, right? And we want to heal, we want to improve, we want to grow. But many of us get stuck in this healing journey that we think it's going to be forever. But here's what I have to say about that. The healing journey is never going to end, and that's not a bad thing, right? But how you navigate the journey, it's going to end for sure. We cannot stay in a state where our whole identity is this trauma. Our whole identity is, I'm healing, I'm doing this thing. And again, let's get back to the joyful part, right? And just sucking the life out of us because we need to do the shadow work. Yes, we need to do all of that, but I felt like I had to put this in there because we are doing all of this, and we are losing focus on very important things that we could be doing instead, which is focusing on staying regulated, right? I said this 1,000 times already, but I'm the biggest proponent of being regulated. And I know this is where everything starts, right? So instead of just consuming more and more, why don't we focus on, okay, how can I actually just maintain my healing? I've come so far. Let me see how I can maintain myself happy, grounded, centered, right? Let's focus on that. And when something shows up, because it is going to show up, right? Because the healing never ends. But let's address things if they show up, okay? Another thing is to apply what you learned on your journey. I'm sorry, I had to put this in here because I see it all the time. I'm like, are you applying what you've learned last week? We need to start applying what we have learned, right? And if you don't know how to apply it, reach out. Oh my God, as survivors, we have this thing that we don't want to, you know, talk to people, send a message, give them a call, book the call. But you are on this journey. If I understand you correctly, you are on this journey because not only you want to be stuck on this healing journey, you are here to fucking thrive. Like you are here because you know you have so many things that you want to do. Maybe you want to write that book, maybe you want to start that business, maybe you want that promotion, maybe you want to buy that house, right? And you want to move forward. And the way you move forward is that if you apply the methods and systems that are actually going to help you move forward, not just the listening, but the doing, not just the thinking of, I want to change things, but actually taking the steps, right? By actually going to day number 2 and being like, oh, this is the framework. How can I apply this? How can I apply this? How can I apply this? This is what I did at the beginning of my journey, and this is fucking crazy. I like the life that I live now. It's just I couldn't not ever. I got to this island almost 11 years ago. Didn't have money. Completely broken relationship. Like this was a crazy life. I was suffering from PTSD. Could only sleep with a light on because I had nightmares every day. I was bumping into the same relationships, same types of jobs, always ended up broke. And it's like, this is a crazy life that I live right now that I'm very grateful for. But I had to make this decision of everything that I read, everything that I find that it resonates with me, I'm going to freaking apply this thing. I'm going to look for this expert. I'm just going to apply this thing. That's how I was able to be where I am today. And don't get me wrong, I'm still going. I still have a lot to go. But I have my own business. I broken that pattern of always being there for other people and helping other people grow their business and make crazy amounts of money. And when it came to making my own business, I was just delaying it and afraid. I broke that pattern and so many others in relationships and all of that. So may this be your inspiration to apply what you have learned, right? And if you have difficulties, obviously, like reach out. And I'm going to share something with you. Totally forgot to tell you this. But at the end of this masterclass, I'm going to quickly share something with you that I've created and it's freaking awesome. And maybe will help you apply what you have learned. No strings attached, of course. Nurture growth and expansion, right? I feel like sometimes when we are on a healing journey, what we are doing is we nurture that old part of the story, but there is a time frame for that. I don't know at what stage you're in, but I'm always the type of coach that I'm gonna, sometimes we're like this, I'm gonna place you here so you can look forward where there is growth and where there is expansion. That's how we should look at healing. That's how we should look, because if you're saying, I want to break patterns because I was so stupid, I did X, Y, and Z in the past, as opposed to I want to break patterns because I want to be the type of woman that is confident and standing in her power and owning her values, how different is that? And it's just this a matter of changing perspectives, right? Can you feel the difference, right? Because it's totally different. Okay. And last, no longer constantly unpacking your past. I know I am going against the grain here, but if you have been doing your healing for a long time now, maybe it's time to do that redirect and start looking forward and start thinking forward. I remember there was this time where I was a little bit depressed. This is, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks, 2 years ago or something. And I noticed, and I was working with a coach at the time. I worked with this coach for so long. And I've noticed that during like my journaling time in the morning, I was always journaling about what was wrong, about what happened, about, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? starting the day, journaling, and some people call it brain dump, and sometimes it's great. But when you're just brain dumping and focusing on on in the past, it's there comes a time where it's not productive anymore, especially if you're like me, because I have a tendency to be very anxious, right? So if I'm already anxious and in the morning I am starting to write anxious thoughts about everything that's going wrong, it just sucks for me. It just ruins my day, right? So I've noticed I was doing this and the anxiety was a little bit up, and I started journaling about, okay, what would I like to happen today, what was I grateful for, and and just kind of like a shift in perspective, because I don't want you to get stuck in your past, right? I really don't want you to constantly just unpack. And it is actually, I've heard many psychologists and psychiatrists talking about this, where like there comes a point where the unpacking isn't doing anything else, right? So this is the part where you actually check in, because some of you never unpacked it and you need to do it. Some of you unpack it every day at every hour with everyone you know. These, by the way, are all trauma responses, and this is a judgment-free zone. It's just what happens. And I've witnessed it for so many people throughout the years and within myself as well. I was the person who didn't unpack anything. So I had to unpack it with a coach, with a therapist. And then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Let's move forward, right? So I'm kind of trying to pull you forward. All right. Are we on the same boat? Does this make sense for all of you? Okay. All right. Just, okay. All right. I love this concept of maintenance healing. If you love it as well, because for me, it helps me differentiate from I'm doing this whole healing thing because there is one thing that I want to work on, or no, I'm just maintaining myself and doing my morning routine and seeing my coach on a weekly basis, right? Because maintenance healing can also be like you having your weekly session, but it's just not like your entire life, right? Okay. Okay. So let's talk about, well, actually, let me take a sip of water. Let's talk about what it takes to actually, I was looking at my notes because I was like, yapping, 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 yapping. I was like, did I say everything? I did say everything, I believe. So let's talk about what does it actually take to become a pattern breaker. Yes, absolutely. Syra is saying changing your perspective works. Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. And I find that having like a daily practice of you changing your perspective every morning helps you get into this practice of changing your perspective often, because it's easy when you are doing it like, first thing in the morning, you have some prompts and you do it. And then when you are in certain situations where you actually have to change your perspective, it happens like rather quickly. It's like with the yoga. Why am I screaming? God. It's like with the yoga. I'm a yoga teacher as well. And for me, the yoga practice is beautiful because you are doing these things on the mat and you are working on your flexibility. And all of a sudden, you find yourself living your life and you are more flexible. Like, wow, it's just beautiful. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious for the people who are live. And also, if you are catching the replay, let me know. What do you think it actually takes to become a pattern breaker? Let me see. Oh, I see. Okay. It takes some time for me to actually see the comments. Should I just move forward? Are you shy, ladies? Let me know. What do you think? Do you think you need discipline? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, comments are truly delayed. Anyways, let me move on. Okay. So this is what I believe and what I've seen time and time again that works to help you become a pattern breaker. And Some of this we've already spoke about. This is pretty much my forward and free method, but packed in a different way because we're talking about breaking patterns and I wanted to be more specific with you. But this is what I've seen that works. Okay, all right, let's see before, okay. We have one here. Stacey, you're slow today. That's fine. Embrace that. Embrace that. Okay, to be a pattern breaker, you have to have confidence and be prepared to fail. Yes, I love that. So true. And take accountability. Ooh, we are aligned, Saida. We are aligned. Okay, hold on. Okay. So here's what I came up with from my own experience and from coaching other survivors. First of all, not even going to go dive deep into this. Emotional safety and regulation, okay? I don't want you to be on fire, all dysregulated, burning out, and trying to break patterns. Oh my God, that's so painful. You don't have to do it. I'm already feeling stressed just thinking about it. So we need emotional safety and we need regulation, right? Emotional regulation. Then action, integration, and practice. As I said, look at this thing as an experiment, right? You are moving through life and you are practicing breaking patterns because you didn't learn how to do that, right? If you're standing here as a badass, survivor, you probably didn't have the best examples growing up. You probably have generational trauma before you, and you are generational trauma, no, generational patterns and trauma, right? So you're trying to break things that are like probably 100 years old, right? So you need to practice. So you need to find what works. And I love, Saida said, like, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. So what? So what? Let's embrace it. Sometimes it's not going to work, but we are explorers. We are experimenters. We're going to try and see what works for us. And we're going to find the method that is good for us in my conditions where I am right now, right? Let's focus on acting and integrating. Right now, it's like, if you notice, I'm here to help you, like to propel you for action, right? And that's why I gave you the workbook, because after the masterclass, or maybe you're taking notes right now, you can go and journal about this and you can, think about what you're going to do from now on. Now, you also need, I haven't spoken about this, but you also need a vision of who you have to become. You have to do this identity work. Where are you trying to go? What kind of person are you trying to become, right? What type of pattern breaker? Are we talking about changing your entire life? Are we talking about changing this part of your life that is messing up the rest? What are we talking about? Who is this person that you have to become, right? So you need to have emotional safety and regulation. You need action, integration, and practice. And you need to have a vision of who this person is. And this is not, we're not, and I'm going to guide you a little bit in a little exercise. I think you're going to love it. This is not, I don't want you to see like the person you want to become just like that. I want you to see the person you want to become, but from a place of regulation, from a place of that confidence that we were talking about and that you were mentioning in the comments, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And you need awareness and radical honesty. Did Saida talk about this? I think yes. Yeah. And we need to have that awareness. We need to have that radical honesty with ourselves. So what does that mean? Okay. I hear some people in my head, because I know my tribe, that are going to be like, I need to be radical honesty with myself. So I'm going to be like, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. Compassion and patience is right down there. See what I mean? Awareness of like, okay, so this is where I am and this is where I want to go. Radical honesty is more of like, I haven't learned to do these things and maybe I have done something wrong, and not from a place of judgment, but from a place of compassion and patience, you go ahead and you think about what is it that you want to change. And from the emotional safety, you're going to apply the framework that I'm going to share with you tomorrow, right? So you're not alone in this. Okay, so awareness and radical honesty, and then obviously compassion and patience. Okay, if you have been through trauma, if you have been through abuse, listen, I'm going to be very honest here, just going to give you, this is an opinion, this is a personal opinion based on my experiences and based on what I've seen. We cannot compare ourselves with somebody who's trauma free. Know what I mean? It's just not the same. Our brains are not the same. And it's the same as we cannot compare ourselves. If you have if you're healthy, you cannot compare yourself. You have a healthy body, you cannot compare yourself to somebody who has, I don't know, diabetes and has to struggle with it. For me, it's the same thing. The thing about trauma is that it's a freaking taboo, and I don't know why, because one of the most common things in our society is trauma, right? When people tell me that I haven't been through trauma, I'm like, I have to investigate, because most of the time, yes. So, you know what? Let's just be compassionate. Let's be patient with ourselves. We are coming from this place, and let's be aware, honest with ourselves. But you know what? Just we've been through stuff. So if you're not breaking that pattern in 2 days, who cares? You're working towards it, and you are going to make it, because you're going to have the framework and everything. But I just don't want you to beat yourself up over and over again. Hold on. I have one beautiful comment and I have one hilarious comment, which is also beautiful. Let me pull them up. This is so beautiful. Hold on. You are an exceptional teacher. Very grateful for the advice and emotional safe and regulation. Thank you. Thank you. This is so good. I'm very honored. Well, I think I'm one you're talking about. You're not the only one, though. I know my people. You're not the only one, though. Okay. All right. So we spoke about all of this. So I want you to take a moment to breathe, right? I want you to take a moment to gather your thoughts. Take a moment to also, think about what was the main thing that actually made a lot of sense for you, that you're like, oh shoot, I've been doing the other things. I need to focus more on this one. Maybe it's the emotional regulation and safety part, maybe something else. So I want to give you some time, because we're going to do a little something. We're going to do a little visualization. If you are up for it. Okay. You weren't expecting to get to work. I told you I'm not fluffy. Well, I'm a little bit fluffy, but I don't like fluff. I like to show you how this works so you can practice as well. Okay, so if you're with me, just take a deep breath in and out. And just a couple more deep breaths in and out. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And if you feel safe enough, close your eyes or keep them open and just soften the gaze a little bit. And just allow yourself to relax into the sit that you're in. Make yourself comfy. Give yourself a little hug if you want to. And I just want you for a moment to think about and just answer this question for me in your head. If your nervous system fully trusted that you are safe to become the pattern breaker, who would you be? Just answer the question deep inside your mind. Allow the ideas to float. What would you be doing differently What is she wearing? Did your voice and your tone change because you are a pattern breaker now? Do you feel more confident? Visualize this new you, this new pattern breaker that is just changing her life while she feels safe doing it. Are you going faster, slower? Just see what is happening, who is around you, what changed. Even the colors that you are wearing. And allow yourself to take a deep breath in. If you are closing, if your eyes are closed. And open your eyes. If you want, you can comment what showed up. You have your workbook, so you can jot down all your thoughts. You can share it with me. I would be the person who has compassion and patience for myself, someone who sets clear boundaries and doesn't allow disrespect. It's the real me, yes, the one who hasn't come out of her shell. Amazing. Hold that vision, write it down. Let me wait for a couple more comments. They're going so slow. Okay, beautifuls. So this, I have something to share with you, but just for you to know, this part one, we were working on the becoming, what do you need? And tomorrow we're going to talk about the actual framework, right? Because this person, this new person, she needs to learn how to be her, right? So I'm going to share a framework with you tomorrow, and then we're going to talk about becoming freaking unstoppable. What happened, Stacy? Are you curious? I have something to share with you today. Too excited for this. I created something real cool, really cool, a short experience to help you create that safety if you feel you need support and if you feel you need to learn more tools to help you create that safety, okay? It's the permission for to succeed experience. This experience is just 10 days. It's a gentle reset. We're going to go through like trauma conscious tools to help your body feel safe. I'm going to send you daily emails with some videos, right? I'm going to share with you tapping. I'm going to share with you meditations. I'm going to share with you visualizations. This is all about helping you give yourself and your body the permission to succeed, okay? I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow and after tomorrow, and I'm going to share the link so you can dive into it and see if this is for you. But like I'm so passionate about this because it's based, of course, on my forward and free method. It's just 10 days. It's intensive. At the end of the experience, you have all the tools. So whatever you need, there's probably a freaking video for you at the end of the experience. So I think it's going to be lovely. Before you start thinking that should be crazy expensive, it's not. It's $197 for the early bird price. Like just a one-to-one call with me, it's way more expensive on a normal day. Okay, so I wanted to create something that actually gave you the tools for you to be able to practice some safety in the body. Because as I told you before, we talk so much about the thinking and thinking about doing and being more. But the thing is, you need to feel safe in your body in order for you to go ahead and go after those things and be able, right, to just set those boundaries, to build the business, write the book, whatever you're trying to create. If you feel like you're starting something and then you're stopping, if you feel like you're self-sabotaging, this is going to be such an awesome experience. It's so good. You are going to feel, after the 10 days, you are going to feel safe and ready to thrive, basically, because you are going to have the tools to sustain you as you go there. And I love this because usually I only have so much time with you, right? And there are certain things where I only do in sessions, and there are certain things where, I would have to have like a 21 days masterclass series, and I just can't. So I am going to share with you, oh my God, and we're also going to have somatic yoga experience. It's going to be so good. Anyways, I just wanted to give you like a snippet of it. Tomorrow, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. I'll send you the link for you to sign up if you want to sign up. I'm so proud of this. This is going to be so awesome. And I just cannot wait for, to get to know the ones who sign up for this, because it's going to be really cool to be able to give you all these tools and then sit down with you and craft how you can just launch yourself into success. And also, it's not written here, but there's like also an onboarding call. Anyways, I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you so freaking much for wanting to become better, because when you are on this journey and you are becoming better as a society, we become better as well. And I don't say this lightly, look at me, I am a Black woman. The world is freaking crazy, and we need more people who are healed, who are here to elevate. I know some of you are even going to help other people in some way, So this is really amazing. I'm very honored to be able to guide you today. So trauma loops and the spot and stop framework, we're going to dive deep into it tomorrow. And then it's going to be all about being unstoppable and how to believe in yourself and stay on track. Because tell me what, like, the most difficult thing is like staying on track. It's not only becoming that person, but being that person every day of the week, seeing yourself setting the boundaries and saying the things and being like, whoa, was that me? Like, it happens to me sometimes, and I'm so grateful, right? If you want to have daily, inspiration, daily motivation, sometimes I share some content snacks to help you with your day, to help you on your healing and success journey. Join our WhatsApp group. It's a free resource. You can be there and be the first to know about everything, basically, that I'm working on. And we have a fun time. The WhatsApp group is pretty much like a channel at the moment, so it's very peaceful place. Let me take a look. Stacy is saying that this sounds amazing, right? The program is going to be so cool. We start on November 10th, by the way. Let me check other comments. Thank you for the amazing job you have done tonight. I'm very grateful. I'm also grateful. Thank you so much. You know what? I will see you tomorrow. I see a comment that says, I'm still thinking, who should she be? What I advise you to do is that if you did this exercise, okay, let me take all of this. Oh, what am I doing? Let me take all of this so I can talk to you and just show myself. Okay. So if you struggle with this exercise, please do not beat yourself up. For some people, it's more difficult to visualize. So what you're going to do is just grab the journal and just journal a bit and just take inspiration from the people that you admired. You know what? I did this in the beginning because I didn't know who I wanted to become. Like, I had no idea. So I admired Lisa Nichols. I admired Jana Van Sant. I admired Oprah in a way. She inspired me a lot. And I was just looking at them and seeing it. Okay, what are the characteristics that I really admire on them? And that gave me kind of like a little bit of a compass to where I wanted to go. And also a good tip is to look at your values and try to see from there what type of life you would be living. But that's it for today. Not going to stop you for long. We already been going for an hour and 5 minutes. I so appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be powerful. We're going to get to work. I'll see you. Bye.